This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana makes car selling fast and easy from start to finish. Enter your license plate or VIN and get a real offer in seconds, down to the penny. If you accept, Carvana will come pick up your car from your driveway. Or you can drop it off at one of our car vending machines. Either way, you get paid instantly. It's fast, transparent, and 100% online. Car selling that saves your time. That's Carvana.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
You're listening to the Super Rugby Cymru podcast.
Hello and welcome to the SRC podcast. Just the two of us for now. Big M might be joining us shortly, but I'm joined by Bookie John Harris. With Ebbw Vale in the background. How's things, John?
Yeah, a view from the stands. As you can see, the sun sets late here. I'm actually at the ground, as you can tell.
You can tell you're an Ebbw Vale fan because you're facing with your back towards the pitch.
Yeah.
How's it been, mate? You've had a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah, not bad. Lovely week in Portugal. Then have to come home, in it. That's fucking shit. But here we are. We're back and we're raring to go. And we've got some rugby to talk about.
Yes. I think we said it last week. It felt weird, especially because I was planning on going to the Cardiff Ebbw Vale game, but it's like I had that extra week now of no rugby, obviously with that one being cancelled. And it always seems to be. I think last year we had the Newport game cancelled when all the games got binned because of weather. Was like right off the back of the 3-week break. So it's like we always seem to have a cancelled fixture around the weeks of the break periods. But there we are. At least the under-20s and the under-19s got together.
Oh, yeah. Good. At least they've had a good piss up, eh?
Well, that's it.
Sorry, training camp.
We'll start with your boys. Cardiff home to Ebbw Vale. Bit of a layover for Cardiff. Obviously, Ebbw Vale have had a week off anyway. But where do we see this one going, John? I think both sides here are a bit playing well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I shall be making my way to Cardiff for this one. This is my birthday treat day out. Because there was no rugby on the last weekend to go out for, so all day here in Cardiff. Which it's the best thing about that ground, isn't it? That's why it is the best away day to go to, because you can just go to Cardiff all day and make it have a bender, really. But I'm looking, I'm more optimistic this year for this one than I was last year. And then I remember last year's game, we turned up, started really well, out of the blocks, like Linford Christie. Show my age there now with my my sprinting references. I couldn't was like on Carl Lewis, but they went 14-0 up. I was this might be maybe this ain't gonna be a bad day as I thought, but then it ended up shipping 60 points and being probably our worst performance of the year. When a game we weren't in really with the 10 minutes to go. So I'm really optimistic for this one. It's it's got that artificial pitch up there, so it's just giving out for a nice day, I think. So good weather, good pitch. I think that'll suit how we want to play. Can suit Cardiff as well, mind. We've got the Blues playing at the Blues, Cardiff. I've got to say Blues, otherwise I don't know which Cardiff you mean. But they've got their game Friday night, so maybe we'll see how many boys they've got coming in as well. But I don't know. I don't think there's too many injury concerns with the Wizards either. I think they'll be annoyed at how that Bridgend game went in the last round because it was there for the day, and they were winning with 2 minutes to go, and then they go lose by 10 points. But I think there was a bit of a wind in that from what I saw in the highlights when Scott Whitlock put a box kick up and it landed behind him. So clearly Bridgend played those conditions better than in the second half to come away with that. But I think this is going to be a good game. It's going to be fast. It's going to be open. So if we can get our game management under control and play smart against them, because it's still quality quality side. They're still one of the best sides in the league. Might not have had a great start, but they're still going to be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. They know the quality sides always do, don't they?
Yeah.
And last year had a bad start, and then they went on 13, 14 game, winning streak. So it's going to be tough, very tough. But I fancy Aberravon for it. But I say that every week. But no, I've also been right twice. So I was looking for the odds then. Where have they gone? I'm on the wrong page. That's why I can't find it. Bookies are thinking Cardiff for it. Obviously, they're going to be heavy favourites. So 1-8, Dragon Bet reckon. 4-1 Aberravon, a 14-point head start with a handicap. I think that's generous. So I'm going to back my boys this year because I'm seeing a lot of good stuff going on, and I think they're going to want to put that right. Cardiff having a slow out of blocks this year by their standards, so that's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most difficult fixtures to call this season, to be honest, because as you say, it's Aberravon are probably playing the better rugby and they're looking good, I'll be honest. I mean, like I said, you put in some real nice rugby together behind. You've been sloppy, if anything, at times, and I think that's where you've lost your results. But in reality, you've won 2 out of your 4. One of your 2 losses was away to Ebbw Vale. So in reality, and it's one of those ones. It's only if you'd have won this week or hadn't have lost in the manner throwing the 16-point lead and that, but it changes it. But I think Cardiff are a difficult one to read because they were out for revenge in the Ebbw Vale game. They named a really strong side, had three professional props involved and all of that side of it. But then it changes the dynamic then when you've got the pro side playing the sort of the Friday before. And sort of how you approach this. I don't think we'll see that same 23 as we will this week. I am really torn on this, right?
Yeah, they change a lot, Cardiff, don't they? That's the thing. They probably change more than any other team in the league.
And that's just it. One week you could be thinking, oh Christ, they got a good squad, but they're missing a few players. I think the only thing that's helping Cardiff is when they played their 3 games, they were missing a lot of key players up front. And I'm not talking about your regional drop-ins, but it looks obviously like the likes of Alan Rees are going to be back. Your head boys again in there now, Sean Moore, and I just feel at Cardiff at home, and they just are a little bit. I mean, I'm actually going Cardiff here, but I think this is close. Like you said, I think that handicap is 14 that's a big one. Like either way you look at it. I don't see this one being a widespread score, I'll be honest. I can see it being a high score, but I can't see it being one team pulling away. And as you say, I think this is where a little bit of game management's going to be interesting. And it's going to be interesting to see how Cardiff deal with that. Obviously, Aberravon weren't great at it. The last sort of couple of weeks, even the game that you won against Bridgend, you sort of let slip and then pulled it back with Joe Gage at the end.
Yeah, that should have been more comfortable than it was.
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Because Cardiff haven't had a game to manage. They got blown away. So you're thinking, well, how are both sides going to approach that, especially late on in the game, as you say, when you're emptying a bench? And I think that's where Cardiff are struggling more this season. So yeah, I am leaning Cardiff, but I think this has a makings of a lovely game of rugby, I'll be honest. But
yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, well, as you say, is
if anyone's there and wants to buy me a pint, I'll give you a shout out on the pod. Don't worry. I'll put you over.
He's now bribing people, and he's mentioned the word pints, and we've got a caller in. Who's this?
It was my birthday.
Hello. This is my first time on the pod. I just like to say John is full of shit, and Rob, you got to shut up. But come on, you talk too much. How we doing, boys?
Yeah, we've covered 4 games, mate, and we're just about to finish up. So if you want to go back to fixing your oven and putting your oven chips in.
Seriously?
Yeah, 4 games done.
No way. You haven't done all 4.
It was only a preview, wasn't it? We didn't have nothing to review, so yeah, we've done it.
Well,
wow.
we got a bit of team news.
So I've timed it perfectly to come in for Ebbw and Rovers. You boys are going to have to give me predictions now. Because I'm lost.
You've just blown you've blown the operation. You've given
Blown the
everybody
operation.
the Thursday fixture on TV. So basically, Matt, I've gone Cardiff, John's going Aberravon. Who's your pick?
Dark
It's got to
horror.
be Cardiff. It's got to be Cardiff, Storm.
Oh dear.
I know
But
they've
that's
got some.
all
They've got,
is it? You choose
they've
it.
got, they've got the likes of, the Hud boys, and I think Sean Moore's going to be back as well. So,
I've said all this, Matt. You can't steal my insights. I steal your Dan Fish comments, but you can't steal mine.
oof, that's harsh. That's really harsh. All right,
Oh.
then. So, is it Ebbw and Drovers next?
No, it's
No.
Quins and it's Quins and Newport.
Yeah,
Your,
someone
it's
advised
your
me to
guys,
keep that
Matt.
game for that.
We've covered John's boys.
One game. You've done
Yeah.
one game. Jesus. I thought you'd have at least been a bit faster than that. So it's Quins Pontypool next. Yeah, boys? Are we happy with that? Can I proceed with permission?
Jesus Christ, Matt. Quins Pontypool.
Quins Pontypool, what did I say? Quins
Quins
Newport.
Pontypool.
Shit,
Quins
that was last time.
Oh God.
Oh,
He's turned up and ruined the
Storm.
I'm all
podcast.
going Pete Tong here.
He's turned up. Honestly, this is what happens when Scarlet's boys just turn up. Just get.
I'm listening to the SRC podcast, the most professional rugby podcast on you can listen to.
Yeah. No.
Wow.
Quins and
Okay.
Newport, Mr. Big M. Newport.
Oh, come on. It was Quins and Pooler for 2 weeks, and we've had a week off, so my head was stuck. I apologise.
Well, since your head is with Quins Pooler, give us your thoughts on Carmarthen in this game and how they're going to do.
They're going to do well and they're going to win. Just leave it at that. It's an interesting one now because obviously we've seen the Drovers 23, which we'll cover later, and we've had a few boys in there that I fully expected to be travelling down to South Africa with the Scarlets. So what boy is if we knew what boys were travelling down there, I'd have a bit more of a clear mind. So I'm thinking, will Ben Williams be back? Has Ellis Price maybe travelled? I know Gabriel McDonald hasn't travelled, so that's one. I'm quite surprised at that, considering the level of cover at 12. But I'm always going to go Quins because Quins are the best as we go. So I'm just trying to think of who's going to be coming back. Is anyone going to be coming back? Really, it's tricky. Like, it's a toss-up whether or not Isaac Young is going to be in. I think that'll be a nice kindly boost with Lewis Morgan as well. Lewis Jones is brilliant, but Isaac just has a little bit more abrasiveness, aggression to him, which I like. I like seeing that. But all in all, we know Quins are a forward-orientated team. We can't get away from that. Not on this pod at least. I would like to see him develop more in the backs, which I think we can all agree with that sentiment across the board with all our teams. We want to see some more champagne rugby. And right now, we are building a backline that's capable of delivering on that. I think our biggest issue is ball retention. We seen it against Cardiff. Quite frankly, we saw it against Pontypool. The amount of possession we had in the second half there, in the second game, was quite poor when you think of it. We're not really unleashing these backs. So I'm basing this more off Newport's stuttering run than Quinn's quality at the minute. But, I can see Quinn's getting a foothold up front, especially with it being at Carmarthen Park. And I wouldn't be surprised to see one or two nice individual or maybe team backline tries. I don't know. What do you think, John?
Back and forth on this one because I can see my brain's telling me that. Well, it's telling me a couple of things. It's telling me that in going just on form, then this is a Carmarthen win. They've beaten Cardiff, they've beaten Pontypool, they've they've looked good. They've won 2 and lost 2, and the 2 they've lost by a combined point of 6 points. So they could have easily be 4 out of 4 Carmarthen, and Newport have lost all their games, which I did not see coming at all at the start of this season. Never saw that coming. But sure, so I'm like, well, in my eyes, you've got to go Carmarthen at home, but then just having a quick look now, Carmarthen haven't beaten Newport at home since December 2019. And Newport have got to win a game at some point, surely. So you've got to think that, well, they're not going to go 5 games without winning. So is it going to come this weekend? But so let's see what the bookies think, shall we? That'll give us a better idea. No, sorry, I'm on the wrong game there. I reckon they have got Carmarthen Quins favourites here, 4-7 for the Quins, 5-4 for Newport, 4-point head start for Newport with a handicap, 10-11. And you know what? I think Quins deserve the backing on this one because of the way they've started the season. So I think they've earned my prediction of beating Newport, and I'm going to go for Quins to sneak this one.
Ooh, that's 2-0 so far. Is Rob going to complete the dream, or is he going to go against the grain?
Yeah, I'm really torn on this. As you say, it's everything points towards Quins, except for something in my gut instinct that says it might be Newport. As we say, again, this is a sort of a fixture that does depend on squad availability. I think if the likes of Ben Roach is back fit, Newport are massively improved all of a sudden. And he's had a couple of extra weeks now and moving on from the last game against Swansea. Whereas if Quins lose their Scarlets allocation to South Africa and stuff like that, it massively changes how dynamic they sort of appear. Now, Newport haven't lost 5 league games to start the season since 1978. And I got a feeling that this is the one where they actually get off the mark. Which you would love, Mark, because you love the fact that all 10 teams will have a win after 5 rounds. I know you will.
I'm happy with 6.
But yeah, I got to be honest. I think Newport. I think Quins are worrying me in the fact they haven't scored any points in the second half of their last 2 games. I think Newport have got the weaponry.
Yeah.
To put them away. And like we're looking at this now when we say about who they've played the last 2 games. Is a Pontypool side who are stuttering, I'll be honest. Now, don't get me wrong, Newport are also stuttering, but I think Newport have the better weaponry. I do. And I think they've also got a better front row to combat Quins. So yeah, for me, this is Newport's final time of being at 0 wins.
I don't know. I think next week you're going to be chasing the record books. When was the last time they lost 6 at home in the league? Well, to start the league, we should say. That's probably going to be quite a while, if ever. On to Pontypool against Bridgend. I'm going to come straight back to you, Rob. You just talked about Pontypool stuttering a bit. Bridgend have shown a bit of resolve to get that result over Aberavon after the first leg of that double.
No need to mention again.
What a segue.
All the time. So, are Pontypool progressing, or are they still in that mode? That's stuttering. Are they going to come good now? It's another home game, needs to be said.
Yeah, it's the home factor benefits them. And I think Pontypool's weakness areas is their midfield combination, which Bridgend will definitely expose if they get ball in hand and enough ball. But it's that front row battle I'm interested in, because Pontypool are struggling this year in that front row. But Bridgend, they're not renowned for that front row and the pack, etc. But as we said, they made a couple of good signings, and I'll be honest, I really like how they're utilising their pack this year. And I also got to say, I think Corey at hooker is starting to get a few tries. He's starting to motor, I'll be honest, even though he's come off the bench a couple of times. So yeah, this is an interesting one. As you say, I think Pontypool are a confident side. I think they need confidence within the squad, but also I think is you look at the sort of the crowd that was down there for that win against Quins, and the crowd could have been better given that the weather wasn't bad, I'll be honest. But that's the problem when a side is struggling on the field, the neutrals tune out and the atmosphere just disappears, and that's what a side like Pontypool thrives off. Is that atmosphere? Is that bit of momentum? Is that positivity? I think that's being if this was at Bridgend, I'd be going for a Bridge win. But at the moment, even though Bridgend are sitting in third, I think the difference here is that sounds big, but in reality, Bridgend have won exactly the same amount of games as Pontypool this season. They're both 2-2. The only difference is 4 bonus points.
Yeah,
You know, it's a Pontypool win for me, but that just goes to show how competitive this table is and how important these bonus points are. That Bridgend in third are taking on Pontypool in seventh, third to seventh, and they've got exactly the same amount of wins.
Yeah, it is a nice and tight league as we're going through it. I mean, there is literally, I mean, okay, there's 15 points separating bottom from top, but there's only 7 points from third to bottom, and and then there's only 4 points from third to ninth. So that little cluster in the middle is just unreal. You've got 7 teams in there that are all more or less the same. I mean, obviously there's a couple of different wins in there, but that is what it is. I mean, I think a key thing that we saw for Bridgend against Abravan, yes, I said it in that second game, is their captain Zach O'Driscoll is back, and he's an amazing player, and he does have a real positive impact on the squad. So that needs to be taken into consideration because we talk about Bridgend, their first 3 games, all 3 were at home, so technically, they've got 100% away win record. We could really use that to go forward. But not having your captain, especially when he's someone, in the pack, and well, generally a lot of them tend to be flankers or locks, they have high work rates, and then people follow on from them. You see that, and you just put that energy in yourself. So I think that's a big thing for Bridgend. I'm not sure when Ryan Wilkins is back. He is due back at some point. So, that could be an extra bit of firepower for them in the backs. I am worried about Pontypool, even though they did manage to get over the line. Like you said, the front row issues. They've changed the front row every game. They're sticking with youngsters. Tom Sims has started three of the games, the Luke's Head, and Owen Popple has started 2 of the young tight end. These are young boys. These are not experienced boys. This isn't what we're used to seeing from Pontypool. So I do think they're there for the taking at the minute, which is unfortunate. Like I know this is probably a part of Tom Hancock's philosophy and style. He wants to develop these younger players, etc., etc. But I'm talking all in favour of Bridgend, but I think the home factor for Pontypool now they've got to win on home soil. I think that's going to be enough to keep them going. I'm going to stick with Pontypool. So, John, are we wrong?
I'm back for this one as well because if this time last year, I would have thought just go straight away be Pontypool at home up there. Yeah, but I don't know. Finally, I think Bridgend haven't started the season this year in the table and wins wise as well as they did last year. So I think they won 3 out of the first 5 last year, but I think they've improved from last year. Actually, I think they look better this start of this season than they did last year. So, and RGC have come down and gone and won up Pooler Park, which I don't think any of us saw coming. So, and Bridgend have just come off coming to ours and winning there as well. So I'm talking myself into the gym, but then I'm also thinking, well, they don't win up Pooler Park though, so I'm back and forth on it. See if the bookies can help me decide. I know what they reckon. They've got Pontypool favourites is probably one up there, 4-11, 2-1 for Bridgend. So quite good, plus 8-point head start for Bridgend. I'm very tempted to go Bridgend on this one because I think what they've got this year is a bit more dog about them. Like they're not going away in games. They're staying in there, expecting the game to come back to them. As if it's like just keep playing. It's going to swim back to us, and we can score late tries, and we can we can be in it, and we can nick it at the end, which they have done and have nearly done. So I don't know. Pontypool just don't seem. I think they've got to be disappointed with the start of their season. I did expect more from them. I thought they were going to more kick on into that top four and be threatening them, but it seems to me like they've fallen back a bit more into that bottom six, which is so tight. So, still don't like backing against Pontypool at Pooler Park, but you know what? I think I'm going to be brave. I'm going to go Bridgend away win for this one. I like what Bridgend are doing this year. I think their scrums massively improved from last season. So, they've got a bit more going on up front, and like I say, they won't go away. They will stay in a game, and they got the threats to score tries. And I don't know, Pontypool are not playing with confidence, and I think Bridgend might nick it.
Not a bad shout. And another nice 2-1 split. I'm liking this pod so far, boys. So on to the final Saturday game, and Swansea get their yearly trip up north to RGC. This is a fun one. I mean, I think all games have been back and forth trying to figure out who's going to be the winners, because we're in a very similar position. Even though RGC have only won the one game, ironically away to Pontypool, as we've already said, they had two brilliant games against Llandovery, and by all rights probably should have won that second one. Drovers scoring right to the death, 36-35 with a clutch touchline conversion from Johan Hughes. But if we switch over to Swansea, that double header against Newport, I mean, that second game was obviously on Ebbw live, and they look brilliant. Almost every facet of play they were going through, they played at a very, very good level. They were unlucky against Pooler in the first game, 25-13, down at Pooler Park. They gave Drovers a run for the money at Church Bank, and then they had that double over Newport. So, I'm swaying towards Swansea in this one. Rob?
Big shot.
Yeah, I think this is one of those ones where home advantage does count. I think we've seen a very physical, a very assertive side of Swansea this season. They've been very smart and sort of very accurate with their forward play. I mean, quite cut in with their backs. I mean, I think Ian Cornelius has been superb. That big fullback, John, he's still going well. For those who was it week 2 of the podcast. But one thing I think that we see with RGC at home is they score points. And yes, they concede them, but I don't see Swansea as that sort of side who are going to be racking up 35 points on the road at the moment. I don't think they're quite there. And that's why I think at the moment, I think RGC are difficult to call, because one win out of 4 makes it sound like they're playing awful, but in reality is just they can't tackle. It's very much, what do we say, 140, 120 points they conceded in their 3 home games that the 3 games that they're losing. Sorry, and you just can't win a game like that. But I just don't see this Swansea side scoring 35 points. Like, they're there, but they're just not quite at that level for me. So I'm gonna split this early and go RGC.
Ooh, John, it's down to you. You've stayed
Oh,
true to your Australian region so far. You've backed Aberafan, you've backed Bridgend. Are you going to go the whole
I
9
know.
yards?
I noticed that. Well, as soon as I said Bridgend, I'm like, oh, everyone's going to see us back in the Ospreys clubs now, isn't he? So I'm going to go draw. No, I don't.
He's not that
uh,
stupid.
If he
surely.
calls a draw and we get a draw, then
Outstanding.
I know.
yeah.
Now I've said it. It's tempting, but no, I've got to pick a winner. But yeah, you both make really good points because I feel like Swansea have been the surprise package of this season. They've been fantastic. You know, considering they were the bottom club last year and needed so much to work on, but they've been brilliant. Form says they haven't won at RGC since December 2018. So it's a while since they've gone up there and won. You know, they've shown when they can go to Llandovery though and score over 30 points. But that's, it is different when you're travelling up North Wales. It does take it out
Yeah,
you.
I suppose it just depends if they travel up on the Friday night or not, because I know a few teams, yours included,
Yeah,
does do
that's what
that.
problem. That's the way to do it. You know, you can go out on the Friday night then, can't you?
Curry and London, don't it?
Yeah.
Nice curry house on the
So,
seafront.
I know, but yeah, I think Rob might have a good point though. I think you are having to score like high 30s, low 40s when you go to RGC to put them away. But I don't know. See, this year I do think Swansea have it in them to score those kind of points against a team like RGC, who, like as you said, have not been defending this year. I'm thinking if Swansea can go to Llandovery and score 31 with how good their defence is, then they can go to RGC. So, I'd usually pick RGC, but I'm gonna be I'm gonna go for the Swansea win. I think. Oh, I forgot to review the bookies again. We've got to find out, haven't we?
But you've already.
I reckon they'll have RGC favourites. Yeah, RGC are favourites, 8 to 15, 11 to 8 for Swansea. Only a 5-point head start on the handicap though, so they think it's going to be a close one, and I do as well. This is going to could be one of those stupid games, another 40 odd, 30 odd, or something ridiculous. But I think I'm going Swansea on this one. I think they deserve it. They've been brilliant, coming off 2 big wins against Newport as well. You know, their confidence is going to be really high. So why not?
So in breaking the tie of 1-1 between me and Martin, John breaks the tie and then therefore announces that the bookies are going with RGC and announces that we're back at a 2-2 tie.
Mhm.
No, you don't include the bookies. That doesn't work
We
that
do
way,
when
Rob.
yes, when it benefits me, we do.
Oh, absolutely terrible. Okay, that does bring us to the main event, which is actually the opener. So we have got. It's got to
We've
be
even got
called.
squad names.
Yeah,
We've even got team
it's got to
sheets.
be. It's got to be the biggest game of the week. Like, regardless, Queen's Newport is big for me. Obviously, Cardiff Aberafan is big for you, but Ebbw Vale Llandovery, this is the rivalry that is properly building in this league, and I can see it going on for years and years. It's going to be awesome, and we need to note that pesky little Challenger Shield is going to be on the line. We know Ebbw don't like defending it half the time. Whenever they travel, it's terrible, really. But we do, like you've said, we do have a bit of team news. So I will quickly, and by quickly I mean really, really slow and drag on this part of the podcast. I have a quick glance over the drawers team sheet, and there are a couple changes in there. We've got Josh Morse and Gabe Hawley coming in at props. Griff Evans starting at 6. Don't know an awful lot about Griff myself. Corey Baldwin is starting at 13. Tommy Lewis drops down from the Scarlets to start on the right wing, which is, that's big for me.
They're
Jordan
panicking,
Evans,
Captain Mannering. They're panicking.
Jordan Evans, Lee Reese, and Rodri Jones all off the bench.
They don't like it up them, sir. They don't like it up them.
So
sorry for throwing Dad's Army references out there.
Yeah, I like this squad. I think the two front rows, Finn Thomas, Jamie Hughes, Berry and Watkins on the bench. I think we've got two very good front rows to combat what Ebbw will likely bring, and that is obviously a big and a powerful pack. So I'm really happy with it. Bring in Tommy Lewis down. Obviously, he hasn't travelled down to South Africa. One of the reasons why I was thinking what a Quinn's going to be seeing, because I fully expected Tommy to head down there. And then Corey Baldwin at 13. I'm thinking they're going all out speed here. They've got absolutely so much pace everywhere that entire back line can blitz anyone. So I can see Llandovery going for a very backline orientated game plan here and literally just trying to run you off the park. What's the Ebbw Tino saying, Rob?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's also interesting on the Llandovery side is we've seen it with the RGC games and how they split it across the two games. Started with experience in the first game and then they switched it into experience on the bench. And they've sort of done that a bit with, Jamie Hughes, Berry and Watkins, Adam Warren, Jack Main, and all of those boys going onto the bench. Is that impact late on, I guess, or for that last 25 minutes where you're going to have to see a game out, but also potentially be grinding out to be coming back at that stage as well. So it's a very interesting team named on their behalf, and it gets just as interesting on the Ebbw Vale side, I'll be honest. It's a relatively fit squad at the moment. Not many players are missing, but the biggest interest for me is they've gone Dorian Jones at 10 and Evan Lloyd at 15. They put in the ball players, getting your playmakers on the field. Cam Davis is starting instead of Dom Franchi, who's in at 23. Again, that's your distribution, your bit of movement around the middle of the park, rather than you just one up, reliable smash mouth sort of style. And I think a lot of people are underestimating Ebbw Vale this year in terms of their back play. Not only the quality, 9 tries against Cardiff a couple of weeks ago, but you look at where they scored those from, more than half were from 40 plus metres. But when they're initiating, and it's Dav Thomas has already got 3. Only one player has got 4, and that's Yaya Morris who starts at hooker. So there's tries and movement in this back line. There's a very dynamic back line. They're not out and out rapid pace as such. They are a fast and free flowing back line. I will say that, but it's very powerful. Dav Thomas is a big and powerful guy. Cam Davis, Ethan Phillips in that midfield combination. Very good with ball in hand and very good at distributing and sort of changing it up. But again, both love it getting physical. So it's very interesting there. I'll be honest, the pack is as expected. Joe Franchi's out at the moment, so you've got Yaya Morris comes in, SRC top try scorer, 4 tries. That means Charlie Manship gets his debut off the bench. Sean Parry for his first start at 7, but that's only because he's been away with Canada. Other than that, everybody else is the same in that starting 15, and it's that reliability, but also they are just adding a little bit of depth at the moment. And like the likes of Adam Court is back fit. He's feeling good at the moment. He's off the bench. You've got that bomb squad sort of effect with both teams, where you could be seeing people from 50 minutes coming on trying to make that impact, and it will play a big impact. The wind, I think, is going to play an interesting part in this one because it's been the only weather I think this week that we'll see. There might be a bit of dew on the ground, but Christ, that's going to happen no matter where you are at the moment. But a lot of experience as well coming off this bench. Don Franchi, Lewis Young, Morgan Basanko's coming into it now. He's played a lot of games, even with Pontypridd, and he'll be very familiar with Adam Court, being Pontyclean boys. So yes, someone's O has got to go, Matt.
It does. It really intriguing. And, in terms of Ebbw Vale's backplay, we've seen what they can do, but we also saw them revert to type in our middle game against Bridgend. Really gutted that second game against Cardiff was called off, because that would have really been, a proper nail either way for me. Are they only doing it when they can, or are they just sticking with the forward game until they get the guts
was a
in?
Weird one. Like 40 minutes of that game, the sun was out and it was beautiful conditions. And I kid you not, it was half time and the heavens opened, and you've got to revert the type, right? And ultimately, that's when sides start struggling with it. But I think people underestimate this Ebbw Vale backline at their peril at the moment, and I think it's also interesting. S4C have done a bit of a piece to camera with all the teams.
The hardest away game,
The hardest away game, the toughest place to go. 9 out of 10 teams have said is Ebbw Vale, and Newport have obviously got it wrong. But it's interesting to see how many people mention, yes, the weather, everybody sort of says it is a very weird place because, like I said, the conditions can change. I don't think that'll be the case this Thursday. Yes, they're a big physical side and they're hard to beat, but also, how many people actually mention the crowd and
the crowd, yeah,
and
every single one of them, didn't it, mentioned
the
crowd.
And it is a partisan atmosphere up there, but it also just goes to show that these players on the pitch do notice the support difference, not only when their own support is backing them if they're going forward, but also the opposition. That the funny witty comments that are coming out, or the stuff that's being hurled towards them as an away player does get picked up, does get in the back of their mind, and does change how they approach a game, or because they're ultimately thinking about it. Doesn't matter what people say. Martin, you're dying to get in. You're dying to get in and prove me wrong.
No, it's just what you're telling me is Ebbw are not good enough on their own. They need their fans to come and properly get them over the line. That's all I'm hearing.
Well, I mean, we gotta be the 16th man. I mean, Quins haven't got any supporters, right? So they gotta have a good team.
You did kind of leave yourself open for that one, then.
You did, Matt.
You're going to be banned soon.
We've lost Matt, then everybody.
You are going to be banned. I'm swearing. Double R is no more. Christ in hell. You always bring it back to some crap. He has to have a sly dig where I will actually go off what he's saying.
Okay. Never mind, Matt. Someone's always got to go. Credit to Sam Russell on that one. Spoke to him the other night. And that's what this should have been branded as. That was it. If S4C had it there, and they ran with the toughest place to go, and I've run with that as well. So
yeah, this is such. It's wound up to be such a big game already. Five rounds in, and boom, we've got an epic on our hands already.
Just bring all the trophies. We'll just award them all. We'll have the winner will have the one. The most tries will have the cup. We'll award the pennant for whoever tops the league. And obviously the Challenger Shield is going to be decided as well. So we may as well just call the season here. Friendlies for the rest of the season with everybody else.
Well, until the reverse fixture, obviously.
All right, now the trophies will be decided, mate. Ebbw Vale on the quadruple.
Well, losing 4 on a bounce, fair enough. That's what you think. John, give us a decider. Where is this? This has gone down the line already. You've been asked a few times. If you say a draw, no one has actually said a draw in the history of this podcast, our whole 1 year and 1 month history. So
and just looking at the previous results, these two have drawn up there before. So no, not that. No, it's not. It's at Church Bank. I was 10-0 back in 2020. So the last time Llandovery have won up there was almost 3 years, just over 3 years ago, October 2022. Yeah. And I was 23-20 that day.
3 years on.
I did want to lean into the Ebbw Vale win, because we can't not. They've 6 points from every game so far. They have been the best side in the league, but Rob's banged on so much, but now I kind of want to pick Llandovery out of spite.
Love it.
Because I love back. I've always got a soft spot for Llandovery. I do like them. I like how they go about things, how they play their rugby, but the way it's going, and yeah, I've seen that video as well. It was quite funny to see multiple players as well, because they weren't just asking one player from every team. They were asking multiple players from every team, and they were all basically picking Ebbw Vale. So
it was a fix. Come on, John.
Pardon?
It was a fix. Surely you can read it. I bet it was probably AI as well. No, they weren't real players. It was Ebbw propaganda.
Yeah, I thought everyone was looking in a bit good shape, man. Yeah, but so it does show though that it's psychologically and subconsciously it is in everyone's mind though that you go into the toughest place in the league to get a result. But that's probably one thing that Llandovery are not going to have is any fear of going to anyone, because they such a good side over the last 3-4 years, and they know how to win games, and they know how to beat Ebbw Vale in big games. But I do agree with Rob. I think it has gone a little unnoticed how good Ebbw Vale's backs have been this year. They always had the grunt up front to get it done. And so their back play has been very good. Not more than twice, Rob.
It's a bit of sign language going on here.
Yeah, audio listeners, you really need to get on YouTube and see some of these actions. We do have a good laugh when someone else is speaking.
The bookies are going Ebbw Vale home win, which we expected. I would have thought 8-15, 11-8 for Llandovery, plus 5 points with a handicap for Llandovery. Yeah.
Smash or easy.
Who's starting hooker for Ebbw Vale tomorrow? It's not Frankie, is it?
Morris.
No, it's Morris.
Ian Morris. So if you want him for first try scorer, he's 9-1. Because Ebbw Vale hooker scored twice, don't they? So
that's good odds.
I think because we've got the team sheets out, so we've actually got some first try scorer bet in. David Thomas is favourite at 6-1. Or you could have Tommy Lewis 7-1 for Llandovery.
See, I'd have Jack. Where's Jack Davis in all that? Because I would have him to score first, personally.
Jack Davis is 20-1.
Double against RGCC, and he loves cutting open Ebbw Vale. He really does. He's got a knack for it. I might actually put a penny on that.
Come on, Matt.
Right, I've got to pick someone now, haven't I? I've actually got to pick someone there. Well, I know I want to pick, but I just don't want to now. But I've got to go Ebbw Vale at home. They don't lose at home. Every club every player in that video plays up there says that it's the toughest place to go, and they are. They have been the best side in the league so far this season, but this is going to be their biggest test so far. And yeah, this could be an absolute cracker, or we're going to have a 3-3 draw like Rob said. But yeah, I've got to go with Ebbw Vale win at home with how they play in. But hey, if anyone got better and wins, Llandovery can.
Boom. Okay, so we will end it on that note. If you've made it this far, and of course you've made it this far, this is the SRC podcast. You don't cut out middle of the pod. You wait till the end. So please,
where the magic happens.
Where the magic happens, and John can finally resume his end of pod super word. We've had to been covering for you, so it's been our job. So yeah, back to what I was saying. Please like, share, subscribe. We got some only 23% of listeners subscribe, so it's a massive help. And like I've said previously, our aim is to try and sponsor a few teams. Any sort of income we get after costs, we want to put it towards clubs. That is the aim that we're going for right now. So, yeah, please lend us a helping hand, and we'll see you all again next week, except for Rob, because, of course, he's banned. All right. Thank you, boys, for being with me, and we'll do it all again next week. Ta-da.
Super.
That was the Super Rugby Cymru podcast. Please rate, review, and share us on socials if you can, and join us again next week for more of the same. And until then, enjoy your rugby.
podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.